രാജശ്രീ വെങ്കിട്ടരമണൻ 130 വാക്ക് ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ഷോർട്ട് ആൻഡ് സ്പീഡ് ഡിക്റ്റേഷനാണ് വായിക്കുന്നത്. സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യാത്തവരുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ പ്ലീസ് സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ഫോർ മീ. ഇത് നല്ലോണം എഴുതിയാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് SSC വരുന്ന KGT ഹൈ സ്പീഡ് ഒക്കെ നല്ലോണം എഴുതുവാൻ സാധിക്കും. നല്ലോണം പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്യുക. So, I have hesitated to intervene in this debate because I wanted honorable members to have as much time as possible to discuss the most important matter. My colleague, the Food Minister, will reply to debate fully later on. Yesterday, my colleague, the Finance Minister, gave a very liquid analysis of the situation and made clear what the basic policy of government was. He spoke not only on behalf of government but also of the Planning Commission. Note that the two are separate from each other or are in opposition to each other. Nevertheless, he spoke with authority on the part of both of government and the Planning Commission, of which he has to bear a considerable burden. Yet, I decided to speak to say a few words because there has been in the recent past some confusion in the public mind on this issue, and many things have been said which appear to be have no justification whatever, that is in so far as the government is concerned. And that was one reason why I welcome this debate in this house. When I was asked earlier in this session if we could have a debate, probably the honorable member who put me that question was under the impression that some big changes were under contemplation. In fact, he asked me if big changes would be introduced and debate will take place afterwards, a kind of postmortem or before. As a matter of fact, as the House will realize, no change in policy was intended or is suggested. Certain changes are certainly suggested, but they have nothing to do with the basic policy that government has attempted to follow and intends to pursue in future. But this confusion was caused, and some of our friends in the newspapers gave big headlines and imagined many things which did not exist. Now, the question of food has been one of the most difficult questions during the last few years, and I suppose the food ministry, whoever has been the incumbent of which, has had to face very difficult problem as the House knows. We have all, of course, shared, that is the government and the cabinet have shared to some extent in the burdens that the food ministry carried, but ultimately it had to be carried by the food minister of the day. We have, I suppose, in the course of the past few years made mistakes. We tried to profit the whole. We are somewhat better off. We are in a somewhat more favorable situation. Of course, the favorable situation is not so much due merely to government policy. It is due to other factors also. But naturally, to some extent, I think we are justified in saying that it is, to that extent, a result of government policy also. And I should like, in this connection, to pay my tribute to my colleague, the food minister, who has approached this very difficult and complicated subject with an energy and a vitality and an awareness which I think have produced certain results all over the country. Now, I do not propose to go into any detailed analysis of figures. The House has had perhaps a fair dense of them already. But what is necessary is for us not to get lost and not to forget the wood for the trees. In such a debate, each honorable member is naturally concerned more with the particular situation that exists in his state or his particular area, and it is right that he should lay stress upon it. Nevertheless, the most important thing is that we should keep this whole picture of India, this whole question of food as a whole, and to remember what our basic policy is. The House can discuss, of course, the basic policy. So far as we are concerned, no question has arisen to discuss it or to change it. And so far as we can see, no question is likely to arise when we should change that basic policy. I would add that basic approach will continue even though the food position may be much better. Dear sirs, we have received your letter of the 15th closing statement of our account and at the same time informing us that unless a statement is made by the end of this month,